That's what Mother Teresa spent her whole life doing, was run around being compassionate, right? Okay, when you feel compassion, all you have to do is look down. It's much easier. When you look up, you get a pain in the neck. Compassion is the greatest virtue. It justifies suffering. There's got to be suffering in the world, else how would we be virtuous and feel compassion? Oh, it has an antithesis, but such a hard, demanding one. Admiration, Miss Jones, admiration. But that takes more than a girdle. So I say that anyone for whom we can't feel sorry is a vicious person, like Howard Rourke. Right? We have to have suffering so that we can be virtuous and feel compassion for the suffering. On to page 312. Okay, Kent Lansing is discussing groups, boards of directors and so forth with Howard Rourke. He says, Kent Lansing smiles. Have you ever known of a board to do anything? What do you mean, says Howard. Just that. Have you ever known of a board to do anything at all? Well, they seem to exist and function, said Howard. Do they? You know, there was a time when everyone thought it self-evident that the earth was flat. It would be entertaining to speculate upon the nature and causes of humanity's illusions. I'll write a book about it someday. It won't be popular. I'll have a chapter on boards of directors. You see, they don't exist. I'd like to believe you, but what's the gag, says Howard. No, you wouldn't like to believe me. The causes of illusions are not pretty to discover. They are either vicious or tragic. This one is both, mainly vicious, and it's not a gag. But we won't go into that now. All I mean is that a board of directors is one or two ambitious men, and a lot of ballast. I mean that groups of men are vacuums. Great, big, empty nothings. They say we can't visualize a total nothing. Hell, sit at any committee meeting. The point is only who chooses to fill that nothing. It's a tough battle, the toughest. It's simple enough to fight any enemy, so long as he's there to be fought. But when he isn't, don't look at me like that as if I were crazy. You ought to know. You've fought a vacuum all your life. Howard says, I'm looking at you like that because I like you. Okay, skip down. We'll just go down one page, 313 here. And what, incidentally, do you think integrity is? The ability not to pick a watch out of your neighbor's pocket? No, it's not as easy as that. If that were all integrity were, I'd say 95% of humanity were honest, upright men. Only, as you can see, they aren't. Integrity is the ability to stand by an idea. That presupposes the ability to think. Thinking is something one doesn't borrow or pawn. And yet, if I were asked to choose a symbol for humanity as we know it, I wouldn't choose a cross, nor an eagle, nor a lion, or a unicorn. I'd choose 3 gilded balls. 3 gold-covered balls. And as Rourke looked at him, he added, Don't worry, they're all against me, but I have one advantage. They don't know what I want to do. I do. Now, if someone knows what that reference is, the 3 gilded balls, he says, yet if I were asked to choose a symbol for humanity as we know it, I wouldn't choose a cross or an eagle or a lion or a unicorn. I'd choose 3 gilded balls. If you know what that means, please tell me. Please tell me. I still don't understand that. Okay. Page 346. Reason can be fought with reason. How are you going to fight the unreasonable? Love it. Just love it. Alright, page 365. A discussion here about how to be selfless between Uncle Ellsworth and Katie. She says, we just jump in the middle of their discussion. She says, but I really wanted to help people because you thought you'd be good and virtuous doing it, says Ellsworth. Why, yes, says Katie, because I thought it was right. Is it vicious to want to do right? Yes, if it is your chief concern, says Ellsworth. Don't you see how egotistical it is? To hell with everybody so long as I'm virtuous. She replies, but if you have no self-respect, how can you be anything? Ellsworth says, why must you be anything? She spreads her hands out, bewildered. He says, if your first concern is for what you are, or think, or feel, or haven't got, then you're still a common egotist. She says, "But I can't jump out of my own body." He says, "No, but you can jump out of your narrow soul." "You mean I must want to be unhappy?" "No, you must stop wanting anything. You must stop wanting anything. That's how to be selfless. You don't want to do good for the poor people in the slums, because that would make you a good person. So to be really, really good person, you can't even want to do good for others. You have to stop wanting altogether. Stop valuing at all." Okay, page 430. She's talking to Gail Wynand, page 438. "Most people go to very great length in order to convince themselves of their self-respect." "Yes," said Dominique. "And of course," continued Wynand, "a quest for self-respect is proof of its lack." "Yes," said Dominique. "Do you see the meaning of a quest for self-contempt?" asked Wynand. "That I lack it," said Dominique. "And that you'll never achieve it." Interesting insight into the enigmatic character of Dominique. Somebody at work the other day said that they felt like an enigma. They were certainly misusing the word. Surely you've seen through, pardon me, page 445, surely you've seen through that particular stupidity. I mean the one that claims that the pig is the symbol of love for humanity, the creature that accepts anything. As a matter of fact, the person who loves everybody and feels at home everywhere is the true hater of mankind. He expects nothing of men, so no form of depravity can outrage him. That's multiculturalism. A love for humanity is the creature who accepts anything. He's not against any culture. No culture is bad enough to receive his ire. Here we have a good one. This is a scene. Talking is a literary circle getting together, and they're talking about a play written by a young man named Ike. And Lois Cook is reading this play with him, and she says, "Jesus, Ike, it's awful." Ike laughed shrilly. "A stinker, huh?" He waved his script. "A real super stinker. What do you think I wrote it for? Just show me anyone who can write a bigger flop. Worst play you'll ever hear in your life." Go down a bit here. "And this is a great play," interjects a voice, said a voice. This guy named Jules Fowler interjects at this point. He stretches out his cane and caught the play script with the hook of his handle and dragged it across the floor to his feet. These people are all sitting around on the floor and talking. He's sitting in a chair. He drags it over by his feet, and he doesn't pick it up. He just repeats, looking down at it, "This is a great play." "Why?" asked Lancelot cloakily. "Because I say so," said Jules Fowler. Jules Fowler was an architectural critic. He kept his gloves on at all times. He carried a cane. A drama critic. An eminent drama critic. "Because I say so." That indeed is how a lot of the nonsense in modern art, architecture, drama, that's how a lot of it gets started and going, is because someone like this says so. Someone says, "This is a great play," and everybody else who has no frickin' brain of their own, no way to think for themselves, just runs around saying, "It's a great play, it's a great play, it's a great play." I don't know anything about the vagina monologues, but I heard they're full of Marxist tripe, and I believe it, because they were so popular. I heard about them from everybody, so they must be full of Marxist tripe. Okay, skipping down 2 pages, still on the same thing. They're talking about Ike's play. "I'm a genius," said Ike. "I'll have a play on Broadway. Me and Ibsen. Ellsworth said so." "Ike has just read his new play to us," said Toohey. "A magnificent piece of work." "You'll love it, Peter," said Lancelot cloakily. "It's really great." "It's a masterpiece," said Jules Fowler. "I hope you will prove yourself worthy of it, Peter. It's the kind of play that depends upon what the members of the audience are capable of bringing with them into the theater.